Come on. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Constant reinforcement. The stand that when you are a thought leader, meaning you currently have intellectual property available for purchase, it is a lifetime job. Your stuff is evergreen, and if you don't believe in it, do not put it out. This is going for all my thought leaders, all my authors, everybody who wants to be a speaker, wants to leverage their book, wants to create some sort of brand in which people are paying you based upon your thoughts and the things that you put down on paper that are packaged and are available for purchase right now and for the rest of eternity, for the rest of time. All right, I'll give you an example. It was my second book. I wrote that book in 2021. I remember because it was after 2020, COVID was happening, and I just put my first book out and couldn't really go out and leverage the book that I wanted to and go out and be a vendor and collaborate with the audiences the way I initially envisioned collaborating with audiences because of COVID, because of the coronavirus and all that. But in turn, had to start this podcast, had to regroup, get back into the lab, write some more, create some more opportunities. And I wrote the book. It's titled Make Your Move, a unique look into boxing, dance, and entrepreneurship. All right. Wrote it based on what I was actually doing for a living at that time. At that particular time, I was in my fourth year as a boxing trainer. All right. Former football player, former college scout, former high school football coach who became a boxing trainer at a gym named 9 Round. And the motivation behind working at this particular gym or being a boxing trainer was to add to my skill set. All right, I wanted to be able to teach people how to box. I wanted to approach football players and be able to teach them, hey, learning how to box, learning to develop your hand-eye coordination, learning the hand quickness, the footwork, the movement of the hips, all of that translates so well on the football field. And if there's one thing, if I can go back in time, I wish I would have asked my parents to do. I would have asked them to enroll me into some boxing lessons and some dance lessons because of the flexibility, the movement, the way I would have been a whole lot more flexible on the field. Probably would have been able to play more than just one position and all that kind of stuff, right? So again, seeing that, being in the thought leadership world, what everyone in the thought leadership world does is they just put out the stuff that they would have done differently when they were in the positions of the people that they're trying to serve, right? So when it comes to the athletes that I strive to serve every day, I would have, again, invested in some boxing lessons and dance lessons and did some things that would have increased my athletic ability, my flexibility, and all that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, I put that book out, and it took me a little longer to write that one than the first one because I wanted to go out and interview people. I wanted to go out and interview players that have gotten into boxing, former players that have gotten into boxing. I interviewed actual professional boxers. I interviewed an entire ballet dance school, and also some of the people that were on my podcast at that time. I included them in it as well. So, the reader who I was envisioning was a, middle school age, high school age kid that doesn't have the funds or the resources to go and hire a trainer. Doesn't really know many trainers like that, has the ability, has the desire to go play at the next level. But again, I wanted to give them something that they can hold on to and use that book as a guide towards getting them where it is they need to be, right? So anyway, I say all that to say this. It became public knowledge a couple of days ago that the new Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, Russell Wilson, has been training with Freddie Roach, famous boxing trainer with Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, just to name a few of the names. And I actually wrote a full article about it, and this is sort of the video version of the article, because one of the things I didn't mention in the article is the fact that, again, when you put stuff out there, when you put intellectual property out there, you cannot concern yourself too much with your social media likes in the moment. You cannot concern yourself really much at all with how the book is doing today, all right, or how many sales you're getting today, or trying to join some New York Times bestseller list, which again, those accolades are okay, and I'm not saying that those are necessarily a bad thing, but if you really believe in your product and you're one of the people that actually wrote the book and lived through certain situations like I did, again, as a former football player, I was learning how the movements, as I was learning how to teach people how to box and stuff, I was learning how the movements were similar to what I was doing as a high school linebacker. I was learning the movements when you're throwing a hook and you're swinging a tennis racket, or you're swinging a baseball bat, or when you're doing round kicks and you're kicking a soccer ball, front kicks and kicking a soccer ball. All that stuff I was learning. The jab step, one of the titles in one of the chapters I titled, take a jab step. Taking a jab step in basketball and you're throwing that jab in boxing. That's the first punch you learn. I was interviewing a lot of people during that time that were, making that transition and showing that transition. In fact, in the book, I have a picture of Mike Tyson throwing a right cross and Tom Brady throwing a football, and you see them right literally in the exact same position, front foot here, the thing down, and they're just throwing it. Same thing as Tom Brady throwing a pass. All right. And again, the reason I'm bringing all this up, because when you see these things happen in 5-10 years, or when I put the book out, 2021, now we're in 2024, 3 years later, see Russell Wilson, it makes news that he's out there boxing as a way of getting ready. It continues to create opportunities to sell your book and do whatever it is you need to do. So the advice is, and the main takeaway, the main point of everything I'm telling you today is, when you put intellectual property out there, when you do aspire to be a thought leader, make sure your material is evergreen. Make sure you've created evergreen material, because you want to make sure it's something that could sell over the period for the rest of your life. It's going to be a lifetime sales process, and those are the things you got to be focused on. So don't rush it. Make sure it's legit. Don't just put some bullshit out there and expect people to buy it, or want people to go buy, and then think the work is done. No, actually, there was actually a coach who told me one time, look, when I first put my book out, I remember I was having this conversation. It was like over a coffee and Zoom or something like that he used to run. He was telling me, look, when you put that book out, it's time to go to work. All right. And I'll leave you. I'll drop the mic with that one. All right. Main website to get the book, main website to not only get the book, but also for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. It's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.